helping a child does not only mean improving that child's life, but it also means improving the community's life, because the child one day may contribute to the community with his work.
That is the belief of Angelo Caccavale, an Italian IT developer who voluntarily moved to Vietnam to help people in need. Angelo's volunteer journey in Vietnam started when he saw this picture of a Vietnamese boy who was born without fingers. He was so determined to help the child that he decided to travel from Europe to Vietnam to find the boy's family and offer to fund several surgeries. During that trip, Angelo felt in his heart that his mission would be to support people living in difficulties in Vietnam. And so, since he started in 2013, Angelo and his organization My Vision have raised nearly 4 billion Vietnamese dong, built 23 new houses, provided milk and clothes to over 150 children, offered scholarships for 30 students of all ages. So why is an Italian man so devoted to fighting poverty and helping the vulnerable in Vietnam?
Finding the meaning of life in Vietnam and treating Vietnam as a second home had never been in the plan of Angelo Caccavale, an Italian information technology engineer, until he found himself in Vietnam doing the volunteer work to help people and children in need here. After his first trip to Vietnam in 2012, he is now always proud to share his feelings and attachment to this place. What helps motivate Angelo in dedicating his time and energy to do his volunteer work here in Vietnam? And how is his journey with his My Vision organization in helping people in need in Vietnam? Angelo is here in this edition of Talk Vietnam today to help us find out the answer. Hi, Angelo.
Hello, Lina.
Welcome to Talk Vietnam.
Thank you very much.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm good. Yeah, we're so happy to have you here in our studio today. How many years have you been in Vietnam?
Now it's 3 years I moved to Vietnam, but I was coming to Vietnam twice a year since 2013.
What helped bring you to Vietnam?
In 2012, I was living in Belgium at that time, and I started working for a company over there. And my manager at that time was a Vietnamese living abroad. This guy, we are now close friends. He was helping a few children in the south of Vietnam. And one day he showed me the picture of a child. At the time he was a 1-year-old child. His fingers, they were attached to the palms of the hand. He could not use it. He needed surgeries. And so since I saw that picture, I felt something in my heart which pushed me to decide to help this child. And so at the beginning of 2013, I decided to come to Vietnam, to know the country, and also to visit the child and his family.
And the child name is
Cường.
Cường. And when you got to visit his family, how was he?
Well, at the time he had already got 2 surgeries, so he was really not able to use his fingers. They were living in Dong Nai province in the countryside. His family being very, very poor. Living in a 1-room house, very, very poor, with no toilets, with no tap water. I was touched by their life conditions, and then I decided to continue helping this family to build a new house for them. Because in my mind, I could not really stand a child and his older sister, 6 years old, living in such a house. So I continued to fund 2 more surgeries. Now, luckily, the child, he can use his fingers as all other children. Their life conditions, in the meantime, improved a lot. So now I'm very, very happy for them.
So when you first met him, Cường, how did he react? How did he greet you?
Like many Vietnamese children, especially the youngest one, he was very, very, very shy. But then, since I kept coming to Vietnam, I was always going to visit this family, and then the child, he recognized me, so he was not shy anymore. He was playing with me, and we were enjoying the time together.
From his initial engagement in helping a boy named Cương, Angelo has expanded his activities to help raise scholarships and funds for poor students and build houses for those in need. Now let's take a look at the following to see how he's doing in those activities.
In late 2014, Angelo officially founded the non-profit organization My Vision in Belgium. Its purpose is to fight against extreme poverty and suffering in rural areas of Vietnam based on the principles of urgency, commitment, and compassion. In 2017, the Vietnamese Ministry of Foreign Affairs granted My Vision the Certificate of Operation, allowing it to officially operate in the country. Currently, My Vision's main activities are carried out in Da Nang.
My Vision thì hiện nay là hỗ trợ 4 cái nội dung lớn. Cái thứ nhất là xây dựng mới nhà cho hộ nghèo. Cái thứ hai là hỗ trợ những cái em mà có hoàn cảnh đặc biệt khó khăn, ốm đau thường xuyên. Cái thứ ba là hỗ trợ học bổng cho các em học sinh và sinh viên. Và cái thứ tư là cái chương trình dạy tiếng Anh miễn phí.
Angelo always has special affection for children. That is why he has maintained 2 English classes since he started My Vision's operation in Hoa Bắc Commune, the remotest area of Da Nang City in 2017. To interest students, Angelo and his volunteers always try to make their lessons a place for children to have fun through singing songs, telling jokes, and playing games.
Cái học tiếng Anh ở đây em thấy như thế nào?
Lớp học ở đây vui.
Có thích học cái lớp này không?
Dạ em thích.
Học ở đây thì em thấy mình có giỏi lên không?
Dạ có.
The mountainous commune of Hoa Bắc is quite poor. Local students have few chances to learn English. Therefore, Angelo and his volunteers had to teach them almost from scratch when they started.
Hồi xưa đây thì tụi như tụi tôi ít không có điều kiện học hành, như bây giờ thấy như này là các cháu được đi học, thầy mừng quá, phải đưa các cháu đi học để biết sau này mới làm được.
Mới đầu học thì cũng rất ít các em tham gia, nhưng dần dần nó có cái sự lan tỏa. Các em về truyền tay thông tin nhau, rồi phụ huynh cũng nghe được là cái cách dạy mới của các cô tổ chức My Vision, nên là càng ngày là cái số lượng nó càng đông lên. Nên là sắp đến là sẽ mở rộng thêm 2 lớp nữa.
The English classes in Hoa Bắc not only bring fun to the students, but also spread Angelo's love for children among the teachers.
Những ngày đầu mà khi mà mới lên dạy thì mình thấy mấy em ở đây là rất là thích học, nhưng mà thấy rất là thương, tại vì mấy em không có cái điều kiện tốt như các bạn ở thành phố, thì thấy là rất là thiệt thòi. Là mình cũng tìm tòi để mình làm sao mà mỗi cái giờ học mấy em vừa có niềm vui mà vừa có thêm kiến thức.
Mình nhớ nhất là lúc Tết lên đây thì các bạn, dù là thời gian mà sắp nghỉ Tết, tuy nhiên thì các bạn nhỏ vẫn tham gia lớp học rất là đầy đủ, và các bạn cũng rất là, mỗi lần mình lên đây thì các bạn chạy ra các bạn welcome các thầy cô giáo thì mình rất là vui. Và thậm chí là Tết trời nó cũng se lạnh rồi, các bạn đi học thì cũng gọi là không có áo khoác các thứ, nhưng mà các bạn vẫn tham gia rất là đầy đủ, và mình thật sự mình rất là cảm động về những cái lúc đó.
At the end of this year, we are starting a new project. As I said, Hoa Bắc is a bunch of villages, and one of these villages is a village of a ethnic minority called Ketu. Is one of the Vietnamese ethnic minorities, and we are going to teach English to both the children and the adults, to help these people to develop a sort of local tourism, so they can self-sustain and they can have a better life.
Angelo, tell us more about your experience of teaching English in Vietnam.
Amazing, because we teach them from the basics. And actually, I'm so proud of that, because in last year we saw such an improvement in the way they speak English. And those children, they remember many words. They can speak. They can have a simple dialogue in English. I'm so proud of that, because when you see all those young children learning new things and doing it with passion, with a willingness to do it, it makes me very happy.
How did the children react when they saw you teaching English?
Actually, I have to say, they love very much the other teachers. They're all female. Usually when I go there, I make them laugh. Now with the children, I become a child. My way is a bit different. Usually when I teach, I'm really more like making jokes, making them laugh. There is really an empathy between me and the children, and whenever I cannot go, back Angelo, where is back Angelo?
So it's always great to see them.
Oh yes. But in fact, even one Saturday, I'm not teaching because there are teachers. I still go there to greet the children, to stay with them, and yes.
Can you share a little bit about My Vision, and why did you decide to establish that organization?
So initially, I was not thinking of opening an organization. Initially, I just wanted to help, with my own funds. But then, after a few times, I'd been to Vietnam already, and I was meeting more and more families in need of help. Then I realized, I cannot do that by myself. I have a good salary, but with my salary, I can help maybe 6, 7, 10 families, but not more than that. And so how it came that in 2014, in Belgium, with some friends of mine, I founded the organization My Vision.
The name is very interesting, My Vision.
Yes, actually, since the beginning, I wanted a Vietnamese word and an English word in the name. Then in my mind, I was always thinking about, the future, building a better future. So what the vision of my organization has to be. And so I thought of Mai, the Vietnamese words for Ngày Mai, so tomorrow, and then vision. So the name means the vision of the future, building a better future. So the way our organization sees the future, especially for the people we help.
When born in 2005, Phạm Thị Marie was abandoned by her parents. Being born prematurely, she has unfortunately suffered from asthma all her life. Mairi is now living with her aunt, who is a person with disabilities. Their main income comes from the aunt's needlework, which is seasonal and earns just enough for their basic needs. As part of its activities in Hoa Bắc Commune, My Vision gives Mairi a monthly scholarship of 500,000 Vietnamese đồng until she graduates from high school.
Đỡ lắm chứ, hãy là ví dụ như hắn học ở quê mình là học một tháng là một môn là 200.000, thì hắn học 3 môn như đó là 600.000, nhưng có cái khoản tiền thì mình về mình chỉ lo được phần ăn phần học, đi học ăn sáng ăn đồ thôi, còn tiền học thì mình tốn mình kiếm thêm nữa là đủ.
My Vision's scholarship is quite helpful, given that both Mairi and her aunt have health problems and difficulties working. Being able to finish high school means Mairi will have a better chance at attending university, thus finding a decent job that suits her health. Angelo believes education is the gateway for poor youngsters to escape poverty and create a better community, so he never misses a chance to support their studies. In Hoa Bắc Commune, My Vision is giving monthly allowances to 20 primary and secondary students. Also, 8 college students, 5 of whom have graduated and started working, have received My Vision scholarships.
Mẹ em thì hay đau ốm, hai chị em thì vẫn còn đang đi học. Có mỗi mình bố là có thể kiếm được tiền, nhưng mà không đủ để trang trải cho hai chị em ăn học. Từ năm đầu vào trường cao đẳng, và mỗi 3 tháng thì mình được nhận là 4,2 triệu để mình có thể trang trải được học phí trong học kỳ.
Chúng tôi là các cái đặt hàng đối với các em sinh viên mà được sự hỗ trợ Malaysian thì mỗi em viết giúp cho xã Hòa Bắc một cái đề tài để phát triển xã Hòa Bắc trong cái giai đoạn sắp đến năm 2020 đến 2030. Trên cái cơ sở là cái chuyên môn của em đó học. Thì hiện nay là các em cũng đang làm, sắp tới thì chúng tôi sẽ đưa vào bình xét các cái đề tài của các em để chuẩn bị cho cái chương trình phát triển kinh tế 5 năm đấy.
Helping locals build new houses is also part of My Vision's scheme in Hòa Bắc Commune. This is Tao's family's house. It was temporarily built with old metal sheets and has no toilet. Tao's husband and son are suffering from lung diseases, while the family has no stable job. Building a new house has been their dream for the last 10 years.
Mưa gió tới cống dầu, ngủ không có chỗ ngủ. Em lo trong kiếm tiền, có tiền xây cái nhà nhỏ không được, em gần lớn.
In 2020, My Vision will help Tao's family build their new home, and that will be the third house partly funded by the organization in Hòa Bắc. The second one is now under construction. And this is the first house, completed in late 2018. It belongs to Nhung's family and cost 280 million Vietnamese đồng, of which 60 million came from My Vision.
Hồi đó là bằng nhỏ, bằng lùa bằng gỗ, chứ không phải là như xa rồi như đây. Thì cũng thấy cũng khổ đủ thứ, nhưng mà cũng nghĩ thôi cho phỏ lách để qua, mà từ hầu mà có nhòa sai như rồi thấy cũng cuộc sống hay cũng gian giỏi, không khỏe, không có lo như hồi trước nữa.
My Vision's support may not have big monetary values, but still proves helpful and meaningful to beneficiaries. This reflects the organization's spirit that anyone in the society can do something to help people in need. Angelo and his volunteers still keep visiting the beneficiaries to make sure their lives get better, and they are now always welcomed as family members.
Did you have to visit each and every family to see how the condition that they were living in?
Yes, actually, for every family I've helped in Vietnam, I do and visit. I have to see them, I have to meet them, to talk to them, I have to see where they live, what are their life conditions. I want to know who they are, I have to be in touch with them. We analyze case by case. Since I helped the little kid, Cường, I felt like there are some needs which are fundamental: health, housing, education. So housing is also in connection with health. Why? Because if you live in a hut, you are likely to get sick, or if it rains, you're likely to get your house flooded. So those two things are very much in connection: health and a decent house. And then, of course, education, because those children we help, they only through education have the possibility of building a better future for themselves and for the community, of course.
How effective are your support and funding have been to, according to you, looking back?
No, I think we helped around 80 families so far. Number of children may be around certainly more than 300 children we helped. Housing is certainly a way of changing people's life in every way, because that makes them feeling more happy, optimistic, and also the health conditions will definitely improve because they live in a more hygienic and better environment. About scholarship, with our scholarship, children can go to school, who can go to university. So if there was no My Vision, they could not get this opportunity.
For the last 9 years, Hồng Hoa, a 23-year-old girl in Hoa Bắc, has struggled with chronic kidney failure. Hoa has 3 siblings that are still going to school. As the oldest child, she could have found a job to help her family at this age, but for now she can only stay around the sick bed.
Đau quá nghỉ học luôn, không làm được gì. Còn ngài còn yếu, biến chứng và nhiều bệnh. Hai người rất mệt.
Em nó học giỏi lắm. Hồi trước là học giỏi lắm nhưng mà nó bị nó bị đau rồi nó không học được. Nhưng sau này theo như chị nghĩ nếu mà nó không bệnh hoạn thì có lẽ là cuộc sống nó khó hơn. Rồi bây giờ nó đau rồi nó không học được. Cuộc sống mà nó phụ thuộc vào ba mẹ nữa.
Having heard about Hoa's circumstances, My Vision decided to give her a monthly support of 3 million Vietnamese dong. Angelo and his volunteers also pay regular visits to provide the family with encouragement. Hoa's family has no land for farming, so her parents have to work as hired labor, doing seasonal jobs and earning no more than 200,000 Vietnamese dong per day. Three times a week, Hoa has to go to the hospital in Da Nang Center for dialysis. Fortunately, most treatment expenses are covered by health insurance. But spending on traveling, food and medicines is still a big burden for her family.
Angelo cũng có hỏi là không biết là mình có cái cách nào đó mà mình có thể điều trị dứt điểm luôn cho em không. Nhưng mà thực sự là cái tình trạng của em là em bị đã quá nặng rồi. Thì những gì mà mình có thể làm bây giờ thì mình hỗ trợ ngoài cái phần đó là một phần thôi. Nhưng mà mình thấy được là cái tinh thần của em á, là có thay đổi rất là nhiều. Là em vui vẻ hơn. Thế là lần đầu tiên mà mình gặp em á, là em rất là gọi là bùng và em ít chia sẻ. Nhưng mà bây giờ á, là em hoạt bát nói chuyện hơn.
Currently, 3 people with life-threatening diseases and adverse circumstances in Hoa Bắc Commune are being supported by My Vision.
So, Angelo, seeing so many sad stories like that, how did that change your mind or your perspective?
You know, at the beginning when I was meeting these cases, I always had 2 feelings in my heart. The first feeling was really compassion, so feeling like, what can I do for this kid? I have to do something for this kid. I will do something for this kid. The second feeling, now I don't have this feeling anymore, but the second feeling was anger, because I was really angry about why nobody cares about these children. Now I don't have this feeling of anger anymore, because I understand that people, if they are not aware, or if they don't have this sensitiveness, there is nothing we can do. But at the same time, I also became stronger and more determined in helping them. I'm always saying, until I have energies, until I have breath, I will do that. I will continue to do that.
Why do you have such a strong determination towards doing things for others like that? Was it because you were brought up in a very special way? Or your childhood, or you have some kind of influence from your parents?
Definitely, my mom influenced, not really my mom, but the story, the life of my mom influenced me a lot. Because when my mom was a kid in Italy, there was the war, the Second World War. So Italy was a devastated country. So people living in extreme conditions. And my mother's family was particularly poor. So there were days where they didn't have nothing to eat. Just nothing to eat. They had no electricity. They had no father, because the father died when my mom was 5 years old, and she was the oldest of 4 children. But my mom, she has always helped. She has always had compassion to help the others. Of course, my family is not a rich family, so my mom could not do much in terms of financial support. But for example, she volunteered a lot in some local organizations. Still now, she's 82 and she still goes to the house of elderly people to help some old people to eat.
Prior to the project in Da Nang, My Vision started similar support schemes in the provinces of Sóc Trăng and Gia Lai. In Sóc Trăng province, from 2015 to 2016, My Vision built 9 new houses for families living in wooden huts without running water and toilets. Bought 2 cows and 200 chickens for 3 families. Supported 18 families with children through a monthly financial support to help them cope with daily expenses. And financed a heart surgery for a father of 2 children. Since 2017, in Gia Lai province, My Vision has built 10 new houses for 10 families with children, distributed milk to about 300 children every week, purchased clothes and shoes for 120 children, distributed soap for families of 2 villages every quarter. This project is now still ongoing.
How did you know about Sóc Trăng and about those 22 families in need to provide support?
At that time, I was in touch with a lady working in Ho Chi Minh City running a center for deaf children. One day there was a kid coming from this village, Tan Long, because she's a deaf kid. Basically, this child had no father. She was living with her mom and 2 younger brothers, 1 older sister, very, very, very poor. And the older sister, at the time, aged 12, she was raped and killed.
Wow.
This story really touched my heart. After a few months, I organized a trip with some Vietnamese friends. And I was not only shocked by the life conditions of this family, but also by life conditions of the village, because many families, they were living in huts. And in this place, I met Hip. Hip is one of my dearest friends in Vietnam, and she's also very dedicated to the poor. And she took me around the village to visit many houses, many families. Together we identified 22 families to help and which way to help.
From that initial project in Sóc Trăng, and then what next?
My friend Hip, she moved from Sóc Trăng to the Gia Lai province, and she told me, "Oh, this place is even poorer than Sóc Trăng. There are many ethnic minorities of the Gia Lai, mainly the Gia Lai people." Since 2016, we started helping set up a project to help people living in that area, and we are still helping. Sometimes when, for example, there are people who are sick and they need to go to Ho Chi Minh City to be treated, we cover the travel expenses, and we also buy soap and detergents for 2 villages. Because, you know, in that place, my friend Hip, she has to go to, she usually goes to the village to explain the villages, to explain those people why and how they have to wash the clothes or to brush the teeth.
Angelo always has a burning desire to help as many people with difficulties as possible. Whenever he hears about a poor area or people in need, he always visits in person to find out. While carrying out the project in Hoa Bắc, Angelo still visits and makes plans for supporting 2 poor villages in Đông Giang district, Quảng Nam province. Most villagers are Cơ-tu ethnic people. The village still has ramshackle houses built with simple materials. Angelo intends to start his projects here in 2020.
We plan to buy clothes and shoes for the children, some blankets for the winter time. Then we have a budget to help people who need to go in hospital, because this place is very far from the main cities, so very far from the hospitals. And we also plan to help the children by providing them with a regular 3 times a week or even more regular meal, because they are undernourished.
So there are many cases of people in need and disadvantaged children, Based on what criteria do you choose to provide your funding, to provide your support to certain cases?
The criteria are people, families with children, young children. In a family, there are children with disabilities. Okay, they have a higher priority. And then we base our criteria is always the poorest. So we see the life conditions, and that's why we go to visit every single family, and that's why we collect any type of information about the family or about the village where they live, because we help the poorest. And then, of course, if there are children who are in need of, who suffer from serious diseases, they have the highest priority.
Now I want to ask you about the future of my vision. How do you envision what to do next in the future?
Well, first of all, I take the opportunity to say that I hope that in the future there will be more and more people willing to support us, because we are still a small organization, and in my mind I would like to do 1 million times more than what we did so far, because the need out there is huge. In my vision, we will always give priority to health, education, and housing. One day, if I could, I would like also to open like a small hospital in rural areas, because every time they're sick, they have to go really far, and it takes so long because the roads are not good. But again, to do all that, you need funds. In those areas, to build a decent house, a decent 2-bedroom house, it only costs $2,500 average. Okay. So it's not a huge effort, isn't it? So, I mean, for many people around the world, it's not really a huge effort. Or, for example, providing a scholarship to a primary or secondary school kid with $20 per month, it's a big help for a family. Maybe in Italy or in Belgium, with $20, you can just have a pizza.
Yeah.
Angelo always chooses a simple lifestyle. This is reflected through the reason why he chose Da Nang as his new hometown. He said this city is not too bustling and crowded, which suits his personality. Apart from daily life expenses, Angelo spends most of his income on funding My Vision. Since he was a teenager, Angelo has always desired to help people in need. He used to volunteer in Africa, but he said he can only feel happy and satisfied in life and in My Vision's projects in Vietnam. The friendliness of Vietnamese people makes Angelo feel he has become a part of this country. Linh Ứng Pagoda is Angelo's favorite place in Da Nang. Each time he takes a walk here, he can find peace and tranquility in his mind. Although he's not a Buddhist follower, Angelo favors the conception of compassion in Buddhist principles. Therefore, Angelo does not consider his work as charity. It simply results from his aspirations towards sharing the burdens and pains of people who live with him on earth.
How's your life in Da Nang?
Very simple. I'm a very simple person. Right now, I don't need much. I'm already happy because I am doing what I wanted to do. There is a metaphor I like to sometimes to say. So life is like a river. The flow of life is like the flow of a river. And a long time ago, I was like outside of the river and watching the river go through. Then at a certain moment, I dived into the river, and I was diving with the river, meaning that I was living my life more actively. But now I feel like I'm one of the drops of the water of the river. I'm the river. So now I'm one thing with the flow of life. It's a strange feeling. It's a beautiful feeling because I love so much this country that usually I say when people ask me, do you like Vietnam? I say, no, I don't like Vietnam. I love Vietnam.
Can you speak Vietnamese?
Yes, I can. But
Maybe can you say something to the audience here?
Okay. Tôi rất vui sống ở đây. Kể từ tôi sang Việt Nam, tôi cảm thấy rất vui. Tôi cảm thấy nước này là nhà của tôi. và chắc chắn tôi sẽ tiếp tục sống ở đây và làm việc ở đây.
Wow, that's perfect, Angelo. Thank you very much.
It's okay.
I really appreciate one thing you said is that you don't like the word charity.
No.
Can you explain more about that?
I think the word charity is a wrong word. At least that's my opinion. It makes me thinking of, I give you something. I give you, usually you do, when you do charity, you give a little bit of what you have and you give it away. You give it to somebody who needs it. And many times, I'm sorry, but I have to say that many people feel relieved that they did. It's like they feel, okay, I did something. I did something.
Right.
But actually, sharing is something else. Sharing is really like there is the concept of compassion in the Buddhism. I belong to no religion, but there are many things in the Buddhism which I like. But the concept of compassion, so which really means feeling that we belong to the same family. We belong to the same entity, to the same creature, which is the planet Earth. So we should share.
So what have you shared to the peoples in need, and what have they shared in return to you?
Well, I've shared my time, my knowledge, my money, everything I can share, I do. What they have shared with me, maybe they are not aware, but thanks to them, okay, I learned more about human beings, about suffering, about compassion, about myself, my mission in this world, how we should live. So thanks to them, it's like my mind reached a higher level of consciousness. And now my vision of the world, my vision of also the daily life is different, because now for me, nothing is so important anymore. What is important is trying to help people, trying to give people, because I believe that we are in this world to love, to give, to share, to enjoy in this way. And this is the best way to enjoy. And this is the best, the most efficient way to live, according to me, sharing. If one day one of those kids I'm helping, and thanks to my vision's help, they go to university, and there is one child who becomes a great doctor, and he finds the way to cure the cancer. Imagine how many children, they cannot go to school, they cannot go to university. But imagine if all those children, they could go to university, they could access education. In this world, we would have a level of knowledge much, much higher, and everyone would have better life conditions. So it's very simple.
Yeah. And is there anything else you want to share?
This is an opportunity for me to publicly say a big thank you to Vietnam as a country, to say thank you to all people that helped me with my vision, not only my friends, but also my volunteers, but also the local authorities or the national authorities. I'm very happy that VTV4 invited me to Talk Vietnam, and I'm very proud, but I want to highlight that I'm not happy for myself. My person is not important. I'm just a little drop in the river, okay, like all of us. But it's important for my vision, for what we do, for the purpose why my vision exists. And I really hope that thanks to VTV4, thanks to Talk Vietnam, as from today, more people get to know about us, about our projects, and maybe will support us. But only one thing is important for me, to help as many people as possible. And this is the only purpose of my vision. Sometimes there are people, also my close friends, and they say, "Oh, you're doing great things, very good, Angelo, you're so great." And I say, no, wait. Let's not make heroes. If you're making heroes, you kind of like saying, "Oh, Angelo can do that because Angelo is a special person, he has special skills." No, Angelo has no special skills. I'm just like a normal person. But in this case, it's not like you need special skills or special talent. This is the message that has to go through. Everybody in different ways, in different measures, can do that, can support, can help. Everybody is not only just a few because they are special. No, not at all.
Thank you so much, Angelo, for your beautiful stories, and we wish you all the best for your future projects and also for my visions.
Thank you.
Just as the name has signified the bright vision for the future of people in need in Vietnam, we hope that our audience also enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.